A warm welcome to the home of science, the love for science. We have a question here on organic chemistry. A very simple question. We'll do a simple explanation and then we'll be providing answers. Okay, the question reads, the diagram shows some reactions of butanoic acid. So what we have in the box here, it is the structural formula of butanoic acid. Now this butanoic acid is undergoing some reactions. So the butanoic acid, firstly this side on the left side, it is reacting with sodium to produce gas A and salt B. The right side, the same butanoic acid reacts with sodium carbonate to produce salt B. The same salt B which is here, salt B, gas C, and liquid D. Okay, and then the same butanoic acid is further reacted with, so here they have said it with methanol. So in the presence of it, it is reacted with methanol to produce liquid D, and organic liquid E. So liquid D and organic liquid E. Okay, so the first question, A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D are different substances. Identify by the name A, B, C, and D. So we have this gas A, salt B, gas C, and liquid D. We identify them by name. Okay, so how can we identify them by name? We need to know what is produced when this butanoic acid reacts with sodium metal. So when an acid reacts with a metal, that is now in general, the general property of acids, the general property of acids is that when an acid reacts with a metal, it produces a salt and hydrogen gas. Okay, so here we have a salt and a gas. So a gas, we should know that it is hydrogen gas because this butanoic acid is reacting with sodium to give us gas A and a salt. So a salt and hydrogen gas. So A we are saying hydrogen gas. So A is hydrogen gas because we know when an acid reacts with a metal, it produces hydrogen gas and a salt. Okay, now what type of a salt? Okay, so usually the name of a salt is derived from the name of an acid. For example, if an acid is sulfuric acid, usually it will form a salt which is a sulfate salt. So for example, a salt can be sodium sulfate, magnesium sulfate. So in this case, we have an acid which is butanoic acid. So the name of the salt will carry the name butanoate. So the name of the acid will carry the name butanoate. Now, this butanoic acid reacts with sodium. So the salt B, the name of salt B will be sodium butanoate. So sodium butanoate. Okay, so from butanoic acid, the salt will carry the name butanoate. Okay, next, we have also been asked to identify C. So where is the C? C, this is where we have the same butanoic acid reacting with the sodium carbonate to produce salt B, gas C, and liquid D. So the salt B here, it is the same with the one which is here because In this reaction, there is sodium. The other reaction, there is sodium carbonate. Still, the salt will be the same since in both reactions, sodium is present. So, even on the other hand, this side, salt B is also sodium butanoate. Now, gas C. Okay, here it is very simple. Here it is very simple. Whenever a carbonate reacts with an acid, whenever a carbonate reacts with an acid, it will produce a salt, water, and a gas, which is carbon dioxide. So whenever a carbonate, so in this case, sodium carbonate. So this sodium carbonate, as it reacts with the acid, which is butanoic acid, it produces a gas which is known as carbon dioxide. So salt B, we know the same one here. Gas C, it is a gas which we are saying carbon dioxide whenever a carbonate is used in a chemical reaction. So C, we are saying carbon dioxide. Excuse. Then next, we also need to identify D. Okay, so D will be written this side. We also need to identify D. Okay, let's go straight to D. Where do we have D? So the D is here. We also have the D here. Okay, so the same sodium carbonate reacts with butanoic acid. We have been told that it will produce salt B, gas C, and liquid D. Salt B, we know it. Gas C, we know it's carbon dioxide. So earlier in my explanation, I said when a carbonate reacts with a metal carbonate reacts with an acid, it will produce a salt, carbon dioxide, and water as a liquid. So liquid D there, it is water. So we have water as our liquid D. So meaning even here, the liquid D, it is water. Okay, we'll still explain that if it is needed here. So meaning we have answered the first question, which is question A, where we were asked to identify by name A, B, C, and D. So we have identified A, B, C, and D. Okay, that is A. B, which is our last question. Name and draw. So name and draw the displayed structure of E. So we need to give the name of this liquid E, and we also give the displayed structure. Okay, so in order for us to know the name of liquid E, we need to consider the reaction of butanoic acid where it is heated with methanol. So this methanol is an alcohol. So the methanol you are seeing here is an alcohol. So when an alcohol reacts with an organic acid, so butanoic acid is an organic acid. So when an alcohol reacts with an organic acid, they form what is known as an ester. They form what is known as an ester. Now, what is the name of that ester? That is now our area of interest. So, since the alcohol which is used is methanol, so we are just methanol plus butanoic acid. Okay, so to come up with the name of an ester from an alcohol, we are going to borrow the word methyl. The methanol will now change to the name methyl. Then butanoic will change to butanoate. Like the same way it changed when it reacted with, in the same way it changed when this butanoic acid reacted with sodium. The name of an acid which is butanoic acid now became butanoate, a radical from butanoic acid. Okay, so now the next thing here we have named. this organic liquid E as methyl butanoate, meaning it is made from methanol and butanoic acid. So the name that they are looking for there, it is methyl butanoate. Now they have also asked us to draw the displayed structure of this same methyl butanoate. Okay, so this methyl butanoate, we know it's made from methanol and butanoic acid. So first of all, we need to simplify it. You need to know the structural formula of methanol. You also need to know the structural formula of butanoic acid. So butanoic acid, it is already there. So methanol, we have methanol, it is C, then H3OH. So this is methanol, CH3OH, which is the first member of the alcohol group, hydroxyl group. Then we also have butanoic acid. So the structural formula of methanol, this is the molecular formula, the structural formula of methanol, which is C, H this side, then OH. So this is methanol. And then this methanol reacts with butanoic acid. So the methanol reacts with butanoic acid. Butanoic acid is the structural formula that we have there, which is like this. Okay, that is our structural formula of butanoic acid. So these two formulas, they just combine, react to come up with the methyl butanoate. So we have methanol and butanoic acid. So in writing the standard way of writing the structural formula, you need to start with the acid, the organic acid, and then the last part which should contain the alcohol part. But in naming, you start with the alcohol part and end with the acid part. Okay, so starting with the acid part, we are going to have this. So we have butanoic acid. So I'm drawing butanoic acid here. I'm just trying to show how it is formed. And also we have okay, so we have written the structural formula of butanoic acid, and then we also write the structural formula of methanol, which is this one. So we have our methanol. We can write it in this manner now. So hydrogen here, the hydrogen here. I want this OH to face the left side now. So we have our OH, which is the functional group of the alcohol. Okay, now what will happen here, what happens in esterification to form this ester? The carboxylic acid loses OH, while the alcohol loses H. So when they lose this atoms, they form a molecule known as a water molecule. So carboxylic acid loses this OH, whereas the alcohol loses the hydrogen atom. Then they will form the water molecule. Then next, you combine what has remained when this water molecule is removed. So we are going to have the hydrogen this side, carbon, hydrogen, next carbon, hydrogen, then this carbon, Then we connect to this carbon, the double bonding to oxygen. Then OH and hydrogen here, they form water. Then from this carbon we connect to this oxygen here. So we have oxygen dash connected to carbon, hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. So what we have finally here is the structural formula for methyl butanoate. So it is named like methyl butanoate. So in naming, we start with the alcohol ending with an acid, but in writing the structural formula, you start with an organic acid, and then you end with an alcohol. Okay, thank you for your time. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, and share the video.